I got Mike here. So, boy, we finally got some movement. It was to the downside, but finally not a range-bound day, some blah day. We finally got some actual movement, okay? And I'm going to show you, because, again, I started this channel originally, and still is an educational channel, right? To teach people about the market and how it moves and stuff. So I finally get to show you stuff I was putting in the Discord, just kind of walking it along to show you what moved the market back up. So you might go, wow, we dropped, and all of a sudden we recovered quite a bit, right? And so I'm going to show you exactly what was doing that. And I don't use just one source. I like confluences. I'll explain to somebody, and it has to be multiple things. It's not just about call options coming in. It's about certain support levels being flipped into, or certain resistance levels being flipped into support, or vice versa. Also the fib levels, things of that nature, and you'll get to see that. I'm going to show it to you very quickly. But again, obviously what got hit the hardest. You have a sell down, all those high flyers up there, you're going, where are they at? Like, they get hit the hardest. Doesn't mean they ain't coming back, but they just get to hit the hardest. And the real big reason is, and I'll show you why, but the really big reason is because big money ain't buying up there. They're not doing, if they got to get binoculars out to see it, they ain't buying up there. They're going to get their discount, okay? They're going to get their pound of flesh before they start doing that. Retail buys at a premium. Big money tries to buy at discounts, okay? Just keep that in mind. You'll see that when I show you the chart. Then we'll talk about a couple of Mag 7 stocks. Like, oh my goodness. Like, man, Amazon, whoo, that thing was like a mess right now. So Google's holding it pretty good, though, surprisingly, even though that big gap below. But, you know, we'll see what tomorrow brings. But I'm going to start off with this right here. And again, I'll bring you the good with the bad. I'll start off with the economic data that we did have. Very few far in between. Unemployment claims did come in a little higher. Nothing here to show on that. But the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index, this is the one that had a huge spike to like over 40 last time, right? Still at 18 plus versus 14 estimate. New orders fell from 42 to 21. And we'll see how that goes. Employment eased some, but it's still what? It's not in contraction. That's the key, okay? Now, besides Chinese stocks being green, even when our markets were blood red, again, as I did a members video showing the rotation to that, the good thing was there's this dark pool level at 607.58, right? And this was at 1050. I put this in here on 1047, I think, something like that. And you see there's all these dark pool levels, massive amounts of money, right? From 606.69 to 607.66. And I even showed you 607.58 January 23rd and how important it was, right? So it came back into play today, all these little dark pool levels. And you can see we finally came down and started consolidating. Why are we consolidating? Got all these dark pool levels right here. You can see 607.58-ish in that area. Just kept hitting and holding, hitting and holding, hitting and holding. Then at 11:44, put this in here and said, wow, I just saw these big amounts of calls come in, right? And it's actually at 11:37. You see that big spike right there. And we're talking about millions upon millions of dollars, right, in premium coming into the market, okay? Thousands of contracts and stuff coming in. You say, okay, well, let's see what happens here. So we've been consolidating. Well, what happens? There it is. Boom. Get a quick 0.32% move. What happens though? Hit this trend line. There's also support levels and resistance levels you can't see because I have it on my futures chart. But you come back, and once again, the last one of these I posted marked the bottom. So let's see if this pops again at 242. So what happens? Boom, there it is again. Thousands of contracts, millions of dollars in premium popping right here. You can see on the chart, right? This pops, and so kind of sticking out. And then you go back to the chart and you say, oh, well, looky here. Boom, here we go. Let's pop again. Right there's where it came in at. Away we go. Another 0.23%. And so overall, here we are. We're up over 0.5% now in the SPY, which is a lot. Okay, that's a nice move up if you're in that or whatever. And so, and along the way, all you're seeing this do the whole day is just ride the film levels up and down, ride the support and resistance. Again, you can't see that, sorry. But I'm not going to put my futures chart out here. But again, you pull the fibs going from yesterday to the bottom of the day, and you can see it bouncing, right? That's all it's doing. It's coming back down. Here we go, bouncy, 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 especially at the end of the day when it was just rocketing. And we got up to that golden pocket level, and that's where we kind of stalled out or whatever right there. And I think we actually eventually made it over that. Again, I recorded this probably like, I don't know, I can see the timer down there, about 45 minutes before the close. But you can just see what's happening. You hit the 0.5 fib, you get rejected. Hit the golden pocket, you get rejected, right? But you continue to move up, continue to grind up because all these calls and everything are coming in. So you kind of get to see at least what's moving this and what can mark out bottoms and stuff. And when you look at this, I don't put these daily fair value gaps and 4-hour fair value gaps on here for my health. I always tell you, that's where liquidity is coming to. It's eventually going to come down there, whether it's now, 5 days, 7 days, whatever, but mark it out. And so we came down that one time, bounced. We came down today, took half of it, bounced. And so again, you're seeing It's just take liquidity now. And you saw a nice recovery back up. Does that mean it's over? It don't have to be. All right, it don't have to be. We'll see if the market, again, is satisfied with that amount of liquidity. We still got the rest of it left over there. But when we look over here, we have up top right there, that is the new all-time high right there from yesterday. Down below, you got a daily fair value gap, and also the trend line sitting there in the same exact spot, along with the 0.5 fib right there. So if they want to bring us back down, is what they did. They just moved up and mitigated this other fair value gap. If they want to bring us down, that would be a good bounce point, right? A lot of confluence right there. And so, I'm going to draw this right here in. Again, here's some trend lines as well that's been respected. And so we're going to bring these down and see, are they going to try to grind us down this trend line? And what does that line up to? It lines up with the other trend line, 0.5 fib, daily fair value gap. I'm not going to pull the moving averages. I don't think they're up there yet. But again, if they decide to bring us back down and grab more liquidity, because when we pull out, what do you see? That is an uptrend. That's what that is. Okay, what are we in though? We're in an area where, yes, we know seasonality is rough. Okay, coming into February, things of that nature going on. We got OPEX tomorrow. So again, this could be all for nothing, and then we shoot up and set a new all-time highs tomorrow. So again, just keep those, keep that in mind of how the market works. Don't freak out and all that fun stuff. Now the high flying stuff we know obviously got hit. Palantir got hit last night. It was not in that daily fair value gap right there when I did this last night, but it came down in the middle of the night right there, and then proceeded to move down even more this morning and came down into the actual gap. Okay, because this is the extended trading hours, so you can see what it was doing right there. That's actually a real gap, so it did come down into that gap. And so the question is that going to be it? Do they want more? Because technically it wasn't even at a discount yet. Right? It didn't quite reach it. Hadn't hit this trend line, nothing. And so we're going to see the big move is like, are we going to come back up? Okay, because there's a gap right here now. I'm going to mark that out, and I'm going to give you an updated chart right here after I show you this, because I recorded this like 2:30, as you can see. And so there's the gap. They're going to come up and try to fill that gap right there. That's the big question. And you see at the top right there, you see where it got rejected exactly? 161, like in a huge premium, right? Again, the retail buys at premiums, not the big money, right? So they push this down to try to get themselves into a discount. I mean, we'll see if that's enough or not, because not technically I wouldn't even at the 0.5 fib. But you can see the updated chart. We did move into the gap, got rejected right there at that fib level. We're going to see if this moves up again to try to complete the whole gap, maybe take a little higher, and to see if that's going to do what? Make that a lower high or not. Okay, that's where we get to find out. HIMS, you can see this one. I mean, obviously this one's way up there. And, not bad. I mean, it was about a 10% move down this morning, but it was needed. And what did it do? It just mitigated that 4-hour fair value gap. That's all it did. It just grabbed liquidity right there. If you want to call that support, you can. But, I mean, that's what it was. Again, they got earnings Monday, I believe it is. And so this thing, don't be surprised. I mean, it's nowhere near trading at a premium like Palantir is right now. And so Palantir is still holding up there. Again, if they don't hang the moon on earnings and the market don't like what they hear, they're going to have a huge discount. Watch in extended trading hours on this one though, because if you do see a drop on earnings, whether they do good on earnings or not, they see it drop, this could be one of those candidates where they suck it up. They get like a 20% discount on it in after hours and suck it right back up. Because I think it was Unity today. Unity went down 10%, had a 40% recovery. Amazing. I mean, it was crazy recovery while the market was getting sold off like crazy. All right, make sure you look at Unity's chart and you'll see what I'm talking about. I showed you some charts last week on that as well. But again, we'll mark this out because I'll be looking at this during extended trading hours for sure and marking this out and say, okay, I don't know if it's going to go up tomorrow or not, but if it didn't go up any at all tomorrow and it comes down into that discount area, into that fair value gap, that's where I'm looking for big money to try to buy this thing if they try to push it down. Now, OKLO is another one. I just want to show you this. Again, you get up there in these premiums right here on these fibs extensions, and it's to the penny. It's not an accident. It's literally to the penny. They sell off hard. There's always some news that comes out, or maybe no news, right? They just sell it down. And so this one's coming down to more of a discount range. Again, this is one of those high flyers for a while there, and now it's kind of fell to the wayside, been coming down for a little while, but it is getting into a discount, right? Getting into a discount area since the last swing low right there. So we'll see how far they want to bring this one down. This is one of those themes again. So, we'll see. A lot of these got hit hard, and you've seen the rotation go into it. But you on days like today, you look at what's green. That's the big thing. Look at what held up. Okay. As I say, you see the Chinese stock still holding up, even though people were taking definitely profits because they've been moving a lot. You saw Unity green. Some others were green as well. Some of the Max 7 was actually green. And speaking of one, we talked about this one, like, hey, is Microsoft going to get tagged in or not? And so far, it held up decent. You know, I'm not saying great or anything, but you can see this bottoming formation right there. Started getting pushed up. Is it going to fill that earnings gap? Because that's what they've been doing, right? Meta got tagged in. It went up. Now it's selling off, okay? It was Amazon for a while. It got tagged out. It's looking like crap right now. It was Nvidia got tagged in. Boom, hit a trend line. You know, Tesla got tagged in for a while, but it's been out of favor for a while. So they keep tagging these in. They're not moving at the same time. And if it can get above this level and start filling that gap, you can see it. The problem with Microsoft, unlike the rest of them, it doesn't have any news. Like, you rarely see any news, right? It's kind of really a boring type of stock. That's why you're seeing this range for quite a while. I mean, that range has been sitting there since like September of last year. And so, and if it just trades in that range, that's a nice move up. They decide to do it, especially with the gap above. So let's see if they continue. I saw some calls rolling in on this one. So let's see if, you know, because they don't have any earnings or anything coming out. Let's see if they continue to tag in and move this one up. Speaking of Nvidia, obviously this one right here, we talked about it. There's your area you want to look for support right there, 130, like 135. And it held that. It held up decent today. Even in a big sell-off, it was slightly green. Again, it's just kind of trading down that trend line right there after reaching the premium level right there for this big move up. Just kind of taking a break. May take a break till earnings. All right. If you look at the momentum, you need this MACD to complete over that zero, be completely over that zero line to get a really big move. And they might hold out to earnings. I believe it's next week, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me in the comments. I didn't look today, but I believe it is. And so again, on the weekly, you know, this is trying to get a bullish MACD curl right there and across. And if that happens, that's not a bad thing. Okay. It needs to get above that moving average right there. When it does, that's when you see some nice moves for Nvidia. So don't be surprised if this just hangs out to earnings. It wouldn't surprise me a single bit. Now, looking at Tesla real quick, not much to report, just simply doing what? 5 days up against between that like 359, 360 area right there. Keeps on hitting it. This one a little different on momentum. It's trying to get a bullish MACD cross on the daily, kind of flat. You know, obviously RSI is below 50, and so a little different here. But it's coiling. If it just keeps consolidating, it's coiling and coiling, then, you know, maybe you get some news out. That's what you need, some news, right? You start pumping up the options market, right? Start seeing those call sweeps just roll in. That's what you need. All right, so if that happens, then hey, all right. And when you pull out on the weekly on Tesla here to look at momentum, this cannot fall below 50. You already had a bearish MACD cross. You do not need the RSI to fall below 50. But you can see on the weekly, when it crosses up over that moving average on the RSI, man, it's some pretty nice moves. So again, a lot of people are expecting this thing to go down to that fair value gap down there. Don't be surprised if they can't come out with some news, some autonomous robots or something happening. But they need the option market to wake up on them. Amazon, man, it just continues to move down this trend line. We talked about this one, broke that 50. Now, I told you where a lot of people are going to be sitting, right here. They're going to be sitting between that gap, which is at 213, and like 217, somewhere in there. All right, if this thing continues to come down, which I think personally would be a great buy. But again, that's just me. And your 100 moving average is also right there. Don't mean it's going to happen, because now you come down that 0.79 fib. It's in the discount. And so if it breaks above that trend line, it can keep going. Google, however, this one held up way better than I thought it would. It's still holding this trend line, right? Amazon broke its trend line. It's been a mess since. But again, with this one, got the 100 right there below it, and it's got a big gap. Big gap to be filled, okay? So we'll see what happens with this one. Now, no earnings to worry about tomorrow. We do have flash manufacturing PMI, flash services PMI, existing home sales, consumer sentiment, and it is OPEX, okay? So buckle up for a fun ride tomorrow. So do me a favor, please put all your questions for Saturday's videos in the comments. For those who made it to the end, please hit that like, subscribe button. Really appreciate that. Think about signing up for the membership. Less than McDonald's combo, and that's everything you get with it. I've been getting good feedback on that, so I appreciate the feedback. And I will see you guys on Saturday.